Yo, it's your boy Bess, and welcome back to the Straight to the Point podcast, episode 25. Okay, today I have a special guest, my little brother Jerrick Bess. Okay, he will be joining me on this podcast to talk about the hottest topics in sports. We're not talking about the Super Bowl yet, but we're just gonna talk about some of the hot topics that's rising, especially, well, mainly in football, okay, in the NFL, okay. But as always, before I forget, I gotta thank God for waking me up this morning and allowing me to talk about sports, which is something that I love to do. All right, so let us get straight to the point. All right, so like I said, today we're gonna talk about just different hot topics that is going on, mainly the NFL. Today, if we have time, we'll talk about what's going on in the NBA at the end. But the hottest topic right now in the NFL is Tom Brady's retirement. The GOAT did retire after 23 years and 7 Super Bowl wins. Me personally, I'm a Brady hater because I'm a Steelers fan. Okay, there's a lot of history that goes with that. But you, on the other hand, are actually a Brady supporter. So just tell us how you feel about the whole Brady retirement.
It was pretty sad. I'm not gonna lie because he greatest quarterback to ever throw a football. So it's like it's sad to see that we would never be able to see this man play again. But then again, I mean, his play was declining, and so like we could all see it. It was declining. This had his first losing season this year, so I feel like it was for the best for him to just retire before things just completely went downhill. So retire with still some sort of credibility left to his name after the last football game that he played.
Yeah. So like I said, me personally, I am a Brady hater, and there's two teams or two people that I really don't like, and this has a lot to do with me being a Steelers fan. One is the Baltimore Ravens. I just can't stand them because I'm a Steelers fan. And then number two is Brady slash New England. Okay, all the heartbreak Brady has put us through. Being a Steelers fan, I remember the one time we did beat Brady, and I remember the Joe Hayden interception. I know you remember that. It felt like we won the Super Bowl because we could just never beat Brady. So that's just how much I didn't like Brady. But when it comes to just his resume and what he does on the field, you got to respect it. And I do respect him for being the GOAT. I have clarified that he is the GOAT. He's not my GOAT, but he is the GOAT. Okay, without a doubt. But it's only sad to me because it's the end of an era. You know, that whole era with Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Ben Roethlisberger, Drew Brees, Philip Rivers, Eli Manning, and then you can throw Aaron Rodgers in there, but he's still playing. That whole era is basically out the door, and that's a new era of quarterbacks. And that era was really good. You seen most of them play. Now, of course, we was kind of growing up in this era, but when we got to really comprehend football, I think you've seen all of them play football. Combined, those quarterbacks had 15 Super Bowls and 12 MVPs. So that's a very elite group. And Brady going out the door kind of just ended that era. Of course, you got Aaron Rodgers left, but if you want to even include him in that era of quarterbacks, but it's sad because it's just a new era, and it's you can say that we're getting old because all them quarterbacks we seen play and now they all retired. So that's why it really hit me a little bit. But other than that, congratulations to the GOAT on a great career. And speaking of GOATs, let's talk about my GOAT, the best quarterback I've ever seen throw a football, and that is Aaron freaking Rodgers. Okay, the real number 12. Let's talk about him for a second
Don't
because
don't disrespect like that.
there
Don't
was
disrespect like that. There's only one
because
TB12.
and okay, well, this is AR-12, okay, and this AR-12, as we all know, has been in the news because it's reported that Green Bay does not want him in the organization this upcoming football season. Of course, I think he wants out as well. Um, so he did come out and he said that he's not going to San Francisco. He did come out and say that, and I'll comment on that after I let you go. But first, I also want to say that he came out most recently and he said, "I'm just going to say the predominant team that we hear as we're walking is the Raiders. A lot of Raiders fans are encouraging me. A lot of Devontae Adams missing you comments are also encouraging me." This is what he just said at a golf tournament that he just said recently. And of course, we know the top five potential landing spots are the Jets, the Raiders, the Titans, the Patriots, and the Commanders. So I'm gonna ask you, where do you think he should go?
If he wants to the best chance for him winning the Super Bowl is going to be, I would say, a lot of people aren't gonna like this, but his best chance of winning a Super Bowl just might be going to back to the Raiders. I mean, not back, but going to the Raiders. I mean, you're reuniting back with Devontae Adams. That's your main guy for some years, and then now you're gonna add Hunter Renfrow and Darren Waller. So now you have that receiving core that a lot of fans claim he was missing this past year, which is why they missed the playoffs, which I don't think is, but that's a different discussion for a different day. But although that's where I see him going, a very dangerous combination would be him and Derrick Henry. He goes to 10. You have arguably the best thrower with the best running back. Like, you can't stop it. Just imagine the play action that you're gonna get off of that. So, but I do think that he is going to go to the Raiders.
So I like both ideas that you just put out, the Raiders and the Titans. I do like both. But this is my problem with Aaron Rodgers. And y'all know how much I love Aaron Rodgers, talking about him all the time. Even when I'm not supposed to be talking about him, I find a way to put him in the show because that's just how much I admire Aaron Rodgers. He's everybody knows I was a huge Cam Newton fan. I was a huge Cam Newton fan. That was my favorite quarterback growing up. But Aaron Rodgers is just the best that I've seen. Like watching him is just pure greatness. And I have a problem with the whole "I'm not going to San Francisco" comment. Let me just say that first because what's left for you to do, Aaron? You won 4 MVPs, okay, 2 back-to-back, I might add. And on top of that, you have a Super Bowl championship, have a Super Bowl MVP. You have 10 Pro Bowls and 4 All Pros. Okay, so your resume is good, but what is the weakest link, right? The Super Bowls. That's what everybody keeps talking about. When I say Aaron Rodgers is the GOAT, people throw in my face, he only has 1 Super Bowl ring. Now, I think at this point in his career, he needs to just go ahead and chase the ring. So let's just say San Francisco was an option. Let's just say Kyle Shanahan said, you know what? Even though the quarterback room is questionable right now. It's not questionable in a bad way, but it's like, who do I go with? Trey Lance or Brock Purdy? If you can get Aaron Rodgers, and if Aaron Rodgers can go to San Francisco, why wouldn't he want to do that? Like that's the best. That's the best team in football. Like between them and the Eagles, those are the best 2 teams in football. If you add Aaron Rodgers to that team, that's a juggernaut. Who's going to stop them? I'm looking at back-to-back Super Bowls if he goes to San Francisco. Like no doubt about it, no questions asked. So I think that's where he should go. But if we're being realistic, I don't think the Packers are going to trade him within the conference, right? And so it's 2 teams in the conference. I'm sorry, 2 teams in the conference, the 49ers, and then he could even go to the Commanders. I think the Commanders are one of those teams that's a QB away. Do you agree?
Yes, they are. It's not just any QB, but Aaron Rodgers type. You can't just give them any
Yeah.
like better than average QB. It's not gonna help them out. They need a Aaron Rodgers. Even if Brady was like, if he wasn't retired and he was, he was a free agent. So if he went to the Commanders, I feel like he could give them the potential to win. But I feel like Aaron Rodgers would give them a better chance of winning Super. I don't think they would beat the 49ers or the Eagles if they had Aaron Rodgers this year, but I mean, they would be contenders.
No doubt. And I think that Aaron Rodgers will put them in that conversation, I think, with the Eagles and the 49ers, because you look at that team, you got Terry McLaurin, right? You got Jahan Dotson, who came in this year and had a pretty good year, given the QB circumstance, right, as a rookie. You got Curtis Samuel, right, who's like one of those gadget players. He's like a half-price Deebo Samuel kind of sort. Like he's not Deebo Samuel, but he's a little less than that. And then you got you found your running back in Brian Robinson. You found him. That's your guy. Okay, the O-line looked pretty good. It's not great, but it looks pretty good. And defensively, you have a top 5 defense in the NFL, led by Chase Young and Montez Sweat and what's my boy name? Jonathan Allen and Deron Payne. You have a great defense with weapons on the offensive side. So you add Aaron Rodgers, I think they enter that conversation with the 49ers and the Eagles. And then, of course, if he goes to the 49ers, that's just the best team in the NFL, hands down, no questions asked. But the thing about the Raiders, him going to the Raiders, is they have all the weapons in the world. Darren Waller, Hunter Renfrow, Devontae Adams, and then they'll have to franchise tag Josh Jacobs, right? Because they didn't give him the extension or the 5th-year option. But the O-line is not great, right? I think the O-line is worse than the Commanders' O-line. And then the defense is atrocious. Other than Max Crosby, what do they have going for him on the defensive side, right? So if you want to win now, I think your best option, according to that list that I just read, not even the Jets, I wouldn't even go to the Jets. I think the Commanders is your best way to win a ring. Or, of course, you should go to the 49ers. But he made it clear that he does not want to go there. So I think he's definitely dropping the ball. The Titans thing, I can see what you're saying. Best running back in the league with one of the best throwers in the league. But are they at a point where we can say they're a QB away from winning the Super Bowl? That's my
They're
question.
they Ryan Tannehill's take pretty far a couple years. He took him to the conference championship the year that Mahomes won the Super Bowl. Am I correct?
They lost it to you.
They lost the Chiefs. So if Ryan Tannehill can take you to the conference championship, just think what Aaron Rodgers can do.
I got you. No, I see it. I see what you're saying, but we got to look at it. Has been a gap, so something has been going wrong between that year and this past year because this year they didn't go to the playoffs. Remember they lost the last 7 games. Tannehill was hurt. I give you that. Tannehill
Not
was
only
hurt.
Tannehill, but a lot of their other players were hurt. Like the story around that last game of the season was that the coach Mike Vrabel he wasn't rushing. There was a couple players that got injured and he wasn't rushing them back because he was kind of saving them all and making sure they were 100% for that last game of the season. Which I mean, no Ryan Tannehill, Josh Dobbs, you know the
Yeah,
rest of the story. So, but I mean, but the whole thing about the 49ers situation, Aaron Rodgers isn't a free agent. So you're gonna have to give up something that is detrimental, something that is very important and valuable to your team. So what do you think the fair price for Aaron Rodgers is?
the fair price obviously is like at least at least two first round picks. I mean, I might be even more. And like, but the 49ers don't even have draft capital. That is very true. But Aaron Rodgers also has the no trade clause, so he has a say so on where he goes. Right. Of course, if you're Green Bay, you want something back, right? So why don't I just go ahead and give you? Well, like I said, they don't have the picks for it. I don't think. I think they gave all their draft capital away for Trey Lance, and then they even traded some more picks this year for Christian McCaffrey.
So what's the what so what so that means that you're left to give up a player potentially, and who are you giving up that is worth Aaron Rodgers? But
Right.
that's not gonna take away from your Super Bowl chances.
You're right. That's a very good point. I don't know who they would give up because me thinking I need that team to stay together the way it is.
Exactly.
And just add Aaron versus trading away anything for Aaron. And I think and the thing is, it's not like Aaron Rodgers has declined in his play. I think Green Bay just getting sick of the off-field shenanigans, like the things that he say, just his attitude, just his the way he is, his personality. That's what I think they're getting rid of. They're getting tired of that versus him being a player. As a player, you don't want to get rid of Aaron Rodgers.
Not only that, but I'm sick and tired of after every offseason for the past 3 years, you talking about this could be my last year in Green Bay.
Yeah, that's what I'm
I need
saying.
I
So
need I need a committed quarterback, and Aaron Rodgers, I don't think he's committed to the team. So
so
I'm
that's what they want to get rid of. Yeah. So it's not like they just trying to get back. Like you said, you want to get back first round picks or at least the best player on the team. You know what I'm saying? Because his asking price is high. So you bring up a good point there. But I'm just saying for him to come out and say I'm not going to San Fran. Like you don't want to go to the best team in football. Well, to me, the best team roster wise in football, that's just crazy. But hey, if A Rod does go to Vegas, it's gonna be a show. But I don't think it will be a Super Bowl caliber show because the defense is just so far away
They won't even
from
win the division.
that point. Exactly. They might not even win the division. That's just me. That's just because it's going to have to be a shootout. And that's what I thought going into this year. I said the Raiders would just have to win shootouts with everybody. But that didn't even happen. So if you add Aaron Rodgers, it's going to be the same formula. You got to win shootouts. Like your defense might have to make one or two plays a game, but you got to win shootouts. And can that happen with Devontae, Aaron Rodgers, Josh Jacobs, Darren Waller, and Hunter Renfro? Absolutely, that can happen. But that's what I thought this year with Derek Carr.
But what if we unfortunately let go of Josh Jacobs, let him walk? That's gonna help with giving money back to Aaron Rodgers' contract. And then we go and sign some defensive players as well as adding in the draft. There's a couple of nice defensive free agents out there this year, and so if I mean Josh Jacobs, arguably, if not the best running back after this past season, definitely top three based off
Mhm.
of this past season. So yeah, you would hate to lose him, but to get Aaron Rodgers and build a better defense, just might be Super Bowl. So
Yeah, but just to close this conversation, Aaron Rodgers, I wish he could hear me talking right now because I just want to tell him that in my two eyes, well, I got four right now, but in my two eyes, you are the best quarterback I've ever seen touch a football. Okay, they're trying to put Mahomes past you. They're trying to just say Brady was better. Brady was greater. He just wasn't. He's just never better than Aaron Rodgers. They're trying to push that narrative. So in order to push back, you got to go win two rings before you retire. And the
Ring
best
chaser
way
is
for you to
crazy.
do that, huh?
Ring chaser is crazy.
He has to be a ring chaser. At this point in career, he has to. There's no more playing for fun. You've already proven that you're the best player in the league the past 2 years because you won back-to-back
That's
MVPs.
tanking
You
your
already proved it.
reputation. That is tanking your reputation. What do we
How?
all get mad at Kevin Durant for? Ring chasing. What do people get mad at LeBron for? Ring chasing. So they're the same thing with Aaron Rodgers.
Wait a minute.
They even
Wait a minute.
said,
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
they even said on Skip and Shannon, they even said on Undisputed, I think it was Shannon, he said, I'm not gonna like he's gonna be taking his legacy if now it's like, okay, now I gotta go to a team where all the pieces are aligned and they're just that quarterback away, which would be me. So you want your
Okay.
guy to not go out and ring chase
Mhm.
just to catch up to Tom Brady?
Not even to catch up,
I
just to
can't
have the
respect it.
respect. Just to
I
have the
can't
respect. And
respect
look,
it.
and look, I got you. I hear what you're saying. I hated KD for what he did as well. But this is what I'm saying. What I'm saying is right now, people are getting on Aaron Rodgers. Remember Aaron Rodgers on the Pat McAfee show, and he said, I can still win an MVP. And then Gronk came out and said, why are you so worried about MVPs? You be worried about championships. And what do y'all knock him for? For not getting to the championship. So guess what? I'm gonna go somewhere. That's the QB way. Like I said, if it was San Francisco, I got it. But if it's the Commanders, then I can't. You can't use that argument. The KD thing. KD went to the team that just was in the finals. Jerrick. KD went to the team that was the best team in the NBA. KD went to the team that had the best record in the NBA. Him going to the Commanders, that's not doing that. Him even going to the 49ers to an extent is not doing that because that team wasn't just in the final Super Bowl.
He was just in the NFC Championship.
In order,
Arguably the Super
yes,
Bowl if your quarterback doesn't
the
get hurt.
Warriors were in the Super Bowl. I mean the finals, Jerrick. The finals.
What about LeBron? What about LeBron? He went and created a super team in Miami.
What about okay? He went to a team that was not necessarily established because they didn't win nothing before he got there. They won when he got there.
Check your facts. Check your facts.
No.
Check your
Years
facts. They won with
before,
Dwayne Wade.
he Wade and Shaq. That was a couple years before LeBron even got there. That wasn't just recently. KD went to the Warriors the year that they was in that little run when they kept going to the finals. He went during those years. That was in Miami. That those years was done with him and Shaq because Shaq wasn't even there when LeBron got there. So when LeBron got there, they built something and then they won some rings. That's what Aaron Rodgers can do, in my opinion. If he goes to the Commanders, they can build something and win some rings. But we can talk about this all day, but we got to move on because we have a time limit. Thank you very much. And the next quarterback is nowhere near Aaron Rodgers' status. I don't know why people even think he is, but it's about Lamar Jackson. Okay, Lamar Jackson. Everybody know he declined the 5-year, $250 million contract, $133 million guaranteed. He wants more. He wants more of a Deshaun Watson contract. He wants more of a Mahomes contract. How do you feel about Lamar Jackson? Do you think the Ravens should just move on from him?
I'm not gonna say they should move on because you built your whole team around Lamar Jackson. So for you to move on, now you have to. It's basically like restarting. Now you have to there and get some receivers that are going to be reliable. You have to change up that offensive line, kind of make them more of a pass dominant strength wise. And I just feel like it's too much. And so I feel like they should try to keep Lamar, but we're not going to do anything for you. I'm not going to give you a Deshaun Watson, a Patrick Mahomes, or Russell Wilson card because you haven't proved that you're worthy of it. Yeah, people are going to bring up his MVP season, and every year he has them in the playoffs. But what have you done honestly since then? You won what one maybe two playoff games. You've done nothing. You've done nothing when it counts. And this past season, you get hurt. And Tyler Huntley, did he do amazing? Did he do good? No, but he kept y'all in the playoffs. Kept y'all in the playoff line. So I'm not gonna go head over heels for this guy to keep him, but I would make an effort and try to sit down and have a compromise with him, just so I could keep my, as of right now, franchise quarterback.
100% agree. I don't think he deserves the contract that he's asking for. Like at this point, it's greed. What is wrong with a 5-year, $250 million contract? 133 million guaranteed. I know I would take it. I'll take it in
Pray
a
for that.
heartbeat. Like
I
what
pray
I'm
for that.
saying, like what are you not getting in that contract that you want? I'm not understanding it. Like you said, what is he proving? Yes, he got the MVP, but I think he won that MVP because we've never seen a quarterback run the way he was running. And you realize he's not making the same running kind of plays that he was making back then. And I think it's because he's trying to prove that he can throw the ball as well. But have you been impressed? Yes or no?
I've been impressed,
He,
but
he, he
I'm
improved.
gonna give
He
him his props.
improved.
He's consistently improved every year,
Mhm.
but it's not on the level of some of the best quarterbacks in the league. So no, but also probably a thing about that contract is he's a run first quarterback. So he probably wants more guaranteed money because I'm not here putting my body on the line. And if I get
Yep.
hurt, like he's gotten hurt every year, he wants some
Past
type
two
of
years. Past
fallback
2 years.
plan. So I mean, I can see why he would want more guaranteed. But if you would just sit back and just do your job, be a quarterback and just throw the ball, you wouldn't be getting hurt as much.
Mhm.
But I mean, hey,
I got it. And I like I said, I 100% agree. I think they paid Mahomes because Mahomes is Mahomes. Okay, you've been hearing it recently. People have been saying he's one of the best quarterbacks of all time already. Nobody will ever say that about Lamar Jackson. Look at Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson in Houston was to me a top five quarterback because first of all, he had no weapons. All he had was D Hop, and D Hop even left, so he had nothing at one point. He was still making plays in a sorry organization that the Texans were still lost to this day, but that they were. Deshaun Watson and Mahomes are way better than Lamar Jackson, in my opinion. I don't think it's a comparison. Of course, not Deshaun Watson we saw this past year in Cleveland. Of course not. But Deshaun we saw in Houston that Cleveland thought they was going to get is way better than Lamar Jackson, in my opinion. Even Josh Allen is way better than Lamar Jackson, in my opinion. Justin Herbert, talent-wise, Justin Herbert has not won anything. He hasn't won an MVP. He hasn't won a playoff game. But talent-wise, pure talent of throwing the ball, he is way better than Lamar Jackson. Jalen Hurts this year has proven that he's better than Lamar Jackson. I just named like 5, 6 quarterbacks. He want to get paid like he's a top 3 quarterback. That's the problem. I even take Joe Burr, Joe Cool, Joe Shiesty, whatever you want to call. I'll take him over Lamar Jackson. I'm naming all these quarterbacks over Lamar to show you that he should not be getting what he think he deserves. Take your money, go win, and they'll extend you. Do that versus asking for all this money for you to go out there and A, either get hurt or B, do what you've been doing the past couple of years, which is get to the playoffs and lose at the first and second round. That's my whole thing. Like you're asking for top 3 quarterback, top 5 quarterback money, and you're not that guy. Baltimore did not make the mistake that Dallas did. That's all I'm saying.
but hey,
All I'm saying.
that franchise tag number, I take that too.
Ain't nothing
That's
wrong
a
with that either.
that's
Ain't
a
nothing
lot of
wrong with that
money.
either.
That's a
But
lot of money.
Ravens, yes, Lamar. I'm just be real, bump it. I don't think Lamar is the answer if you want to go and win a Super Bowl. I don't think he would ever win a Super Bowl. That's just me. That's just me. People saying to put him in an offense like Mahomes, put him in an offense like Josh Allen. He can't throw like them. Why do people keep saying that? People keep saying he don't have weapons. You know why he don't have weapons? Because they built that offense for you. And what do you like to do? Run the ball.
Run.
So you don't need those top receivers. And when those top receivers always remember at one point they said they might get D Hop. At one point they said they might get Antonio Brown. At one point they said they might get Julio Jones over the past couple of years. Nobody wants to go there when they're blocking 80% of the time. And people are saying it's the OC fault in Baltimore. The OC adjusted to your ability. He made an offense for you, and now people want to blame him for you not succeeding. That's just crazy to me. So Ravens, look, if you need to trade them, trade them. I don't think you're making that big of a mistake if you trade this man
I
and
was,
get
I was
back.
just gonna say that.
Yeah, get back the draft capital, get back them first round picks if he's worth that. Get back them first round picks. I heard rumors that Atlanta has been in talks with Baltimore about potential trade. Go ahead,
But
let them go.
but he's gonna be a free agent, right?
No, I don't think not this will come year because they're talking about trading him. So I don't think so. That's a good
Okay,
question.
I was gonna say, if he is gonna be a free agent, then I would, if I'm being honest, I would get on the phone with a team and I would see what their price is that they would pay Lamar Jackson. Give him that contract and then trade him and then get back draft picks, players, whatever I could get back.
Yeah, I don't think he's a upcoming free agent because all the talks has been trading him, either trading him or not paying him at all and just getting rid of him. So I don't think his contract his current contract is up because remember he want that extension like Mahomes got. So I think that he just they just saying that they would trade him versus him walking into free agency, which I think it might be the year after this one. I'm not sure. That's a good question. I'm not sure about that. But speaking of quarterbacks, let's go ahead and talk. You know what? Wait. Because this is my show and I like to do it the way I like to do it. I just thought about something. Let's rewind back to the Aaron Rodgers conversation a little bit. And let's not be a hypocrite, okay? Because you, my friend, are a Tom Brady fan, correct?
Yes.
And what did Tom Brady do towards the end of his career? He went to a team that was a quarterback away from winning a Super Bowl, and he contributed to that Super Bowl and went and got that ring, right?
But the timeout. Look, why did
no? There's no timeout. We live.
well,
Ain't no
first of all,
timeout.
first of all, first of all, well,
Camera's
first of
rolling.
all,
Ain't no timeout.
first of all, when they also got Tom Brady, they also got Gronk to come out of retirement. They also went outside the Ndamukong Suh. They got JPP. So they weren't just Tom Brady away. They also made some adjustments to let Tom Brady be able to take them to the Super Bowl. So don't get it wrong.
I
Don't get
got
it
you.
twisted.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
Tom Brady's situation was way worse than Aaron Rodgers' situation. About Tom Brady not having receivers, look at his receiving core that last year in New England.
Mm-hmm.
Throwing to nobodies.
Mm-hmm.
If Julian Edelman was there, he was at the very end of his career. The very end of his career. He was giving you minimal production.
And what
Minimal
was Aaron Rodgers
production.
going through this past year? I'll wait.
Your guy. He's throwing to his guy, Randall Cobb.
Wait.
His guy, Randall Cobb, that they brought back for him. Randall Cobb.
Randall Cobb. That was a safety blanket. Are you serious? That's all that was.
Safety blanket. That's all you need is a safety blanket.
No.
Am I wrong?
Randall Cobb. That's just Tom Brady's safety blanket, quote unquote, was Rob Gronkowski or Julian Edelman. They are way better than Randall Cobb. Come on now.
Yes, but if you are such a great of a quarterback, then you should be able to do great things with what you're given.
I think y'all are being hypocrites. And when KD went to the Warriors, let's just say KD was in his prime. Like it wasn't like he was in the NBA for 20 years or 18 years, and then he said, okay, I'm gonna take my talents to the Warriors to go get some rings before I retire. No, he was in his prime and went to the best team in the league and won some rings. That's way different than Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is on the I'm not saying he's out of his prime because he can still play like I think he can play, but he's on the downfall of his career due to age. Because he's 38, 36, something like that. So him going to a nice team and winning the ring to me is not worse than KD, and it's about equal to what Tom Brady did.
Brady was 20 years in. 20 years in.
Okay, the only reason Aaron Rodgers is 20 years in is because what's it called?
Because of Brett Favre.
Exactly, because he had to come behind Brett Favre, and Brett Favre
whose fault is that?
One of the greats. So
let's not act like
Tom Brady came in behind who? Drew Bledsoe.
But Tom Brady was also a very late pick. Very late pick.
No doubt.
Very late pick.
Yeah, I'm not arguing that at all.
All the quarterbacks the 7 quarterbacks went before him. Aaron Rodgers, you were what? If not the first quarterback off the board, you were at least top 3. At least.
That's a good question. You know what? Like I said, because this is my show, I don't give a dog. I'm about to look it up right now and see when he was drafted. To be specific, because I don't even think it was that high, partner. Actually, I might have lied. But while I get that, let's go ahead and talk about Dan Orlovsky. That is Jerrick. By the way, this is Jerrick's best friend from.
Don't you
some of y'all might know him from ESPN.
Don't you dare say my best friend. Don't you do that? I do agree with some of the stuff that he says.
His top 5 quarterbacks were Tom Brady. This is all time, people. Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, John Elway, Peyton Manning, and Dan Marino. No, it wasn't a glitch. I did say Patrick Mahomes at number 2. Jerrick, Bess. Should Mahomes be this high on anybody's top 5 all time list? And I did say all time for those people in the back.
No, because I would say no because he hasn't done it long enough. What he has done in his first 5 years is historically probably the greatest start we've ever seen to a quarterback's career. In my opinion, and did I watch Dan Marino growing up, John Elway? No, I wasn't even born. But from what I have seen with 2 eyes, talent-wise, the way you try to say Aaron Rodgers is better giftedly with his arm talent than Tom Brady. The things that Patrick Mahomes can do, Dan Marino can't do, John Elway can't do. These people can't do. But I'm going to say he should not be that high, but he will be that high eventually.
No doubt.
Very soon. Very soon.
I am not debating that way. At
Very
the end
soon.
of his career, we will look back and we might say he's number 2. Hey, if he beats Brady's amount of rings that Brady won, which is highly unlikely.
He doesn't have to. He doesn't have to.
He doesn't have to. So what? So why? So
if he gets
than...
if he gets 5 rings. So in the first 5 years, he's gonna have 2 Super Bowls, 2 MVPs. Am I right?
Okay.
First 5 years.
Okay.
He has 3 Super Bowl appearances in his first 5 years. And so if it wasn't for Tom Brady, he'd be coming up on 3 Super Bowl rings. But of course, you lost to the GOAT. Who can blame you for that? And you were getting physically abused that whole entire game. So 5 years, 3 Super Bowl appearances. 10 years, I could say 7 Super Bowl appearances. Because I don't see anybody stopping this guy anytime soon, if we're being quite honest. And I don't see anybody beating him, if we're being honest, in the Super Bowl. So we are looking at him at least before the end of his career is up, having at least 5 or 6 Super Bowl rings, in my honest opinion.
Okay, I'm not disputing
about 8 MVPs.
I'm not
disputing. If you have 5 Super Bowl with 8 MVPs, you get up there statistically, and we're going to say you are better talent-wise than Tom Brady. Just might have to say he's the GOAT.
Yes, I'm not disputing that one day in 10 years, in 6, 7, 8 years. I'm not disputing it. I'm talking about right now. What's today's day? Today's February the 5th. Okay, today, right now, he is not a top 5 quarterback all time. I just can't respect that at all because I'm taking, and these are quarterbacks that some of these quarterbacks I actually seen play. I'm taking Tom Brady over him. Okay, I'm taking Peyton Manning over him. All right, me right now, today, I'm taking Aaron Rodgers over him. Right now, today, if he gonna win Super Bowl this next coming Sunday, you can make a valid argument. Why not? 4-time MVP, Super Bowl champ, Super Bowl MVP.
Bro, who would you rather have on your team with one? You have one game. Yes. You want out there at the quarterback position?
I want Aaron Rodgers. What's wrong with you? What is wrong with you?
What else does Patrick Mahomes have to do to prove that he is the guy that you want with the football in his hands?
Okay, Aaron Rodgers is too. What's your point?
Aaron Rodgers just proved to me I can't put the football in his hands. He throws interceptions to the Detroit Lions. I would throw interceptions to the Detroit Lions to go to the playoffs. This big crucial moment. To go to the Super Bowl, this guy Mahomes drove his team down the field and put them in position for a game-winning field goal. You put Aaron Rodgers, you give Patrick Mahomes that team that makes it to the playoffs. Guaranteed. They're not losing to the Lions twice with Patrick Mahomes.
Okay, you give Aaron Rodgers that team. You give Aaron Rodgers that team in Kansas City.
That's completely different. That's completely different.
Same position
they are now. That's completely different. That's completely different. You were saying give Aaron Rodgers, give Trevor Lawrence that team in Kansas City, he will be in the AFC Championship. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Is Trevor Lawrence not beating Jacksonville if he was at Kansas City?
So we're saying Mahomes in Jacksonville.
Mahomes in Jacksonville. I'm sorry, I love Mahomes to death, but he is not beating Andy Reid and Trevor Lawrence with the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's not going to do it.
I don't know. I don't know about that argument. I will argue,
but he's not losing to the Lions twice with Green Bay. He's not losing to the Lions twice. I guarantee it. I bet every last dollar I got.
I will argue that any top 5 quarterback in Kansas City right now, this year, would probably be where they are now. Maybe
you're right, but that's not a good comparison. We can't compare giving Aaron Rodgers to Kansas City and then giving Patrick Mahomes to Green Bay. You're taking Aaron Rodgers from a bad situation and putting him in a great one. You're taking Patrick Mahomes from a great situation and putting him in a bad one. But
You
Patrick
just
Mahomes make
proved
that
my
situation.
point. You
No,
just
I did
proved my
not.
point. You just
Because
told me
Patrick
that Aaron Rodgers
Mahomes
is in a
is
bad
going to take them
situation.
to the playoffs. But if you're such a great quarterback, you should be able to take that. And it's not like okay, you lost some games because of other people, and that is why y'all are not in the playoffs. You are in the playoffs because you threw an interception in crucial moment of the game in the fourth quarter, and y'all couldn't get the ball back.
Yeah, they led the
Whose fault
league
is
in
that?
drops.
Whose fault is that?
They led the
Bump
league in
all of
drops.
that. Bump lead
How
the
was
league
that
in
Aaron
drops.
Rodgers'
Bump
fault?
all that. Bump all the other 16 games that they played. When it came down to that last and final 17th game, Aaron Rodgers, you choked. You choked.
This is
Am I
where this is
wrong?
where
Am I wrong? Admit it. Did he not choke?
okay,
Did he
okay,
not throw
let
the
me
interception
go.
and
Now
choke?
let me go. He did throw an interception, but let me go. Now this is where the young mind of Jerrick Bess does not comprehend what I comprehend. Jerry, in order to be in a situation where you're playing to get in the playoffs in game 17, you have to take account the first 16 games. You have to, because that's what led you to a playoff situation, a playoff scenario against the Detroit Lions. If they was catching passes week 1 through 8, their record would not be what it was at week 8. And their record would not be what it is week 17, which means they would not be in a situation where I'm playing the Lions, who was also red hot at the end of the season. If we just don't remember, I don't think you remember, but I remember the Lions was pretty red hot at the end of the season. So we have to count the first 16 weeks. Don't say this bump them, because the 16 weeks are why they was in that position in week 17.
A great quarterback
Okay.
should be able to get their team out of that situation. If we put you in this situation, if you're so great, if you're the what do you say, the third best quarterback of all time? Is that what you're saying?
That's what I
Is that
said.
what you're trying to say?
That's just
Third
me.
greatest quarterback of all time. You should be able to win one game against the Detroit Lions. You lost to Jared Goff. Jared Goff.
I lost to the
Put
Lions.
that
I
in
ain't lose Jared
perspective.
Goff. I
You
lost to the
lost to
Lions.
Jared Goff.
I lost to the Lions. I ain't lose
You
Jared
lost to
Goff.
Jared Goff.
Lost to
No,
Dan
you lost to
Campbell.
Jared Goff.
Lost to Dan Campbell.
That is sad, Aaron Rodgers.
I
That is
lost to Dan
sad.
Campbell.
Is Jared Goff a scrub? No, but you
I
lost
lost
to
to a red
Jared
hot
Goff.
Lions team. And the Lions, arguably team wise, as a whole, I could say, actually, the defense was pretty atrocious, because the Green Bay Packers defense over the year wasn't what we thought it would be at the beginning of the year. They had their weeks where it was terrible. They had their weeks where it was pretty good. But that offense in Detroit, I'll take that offense over this year's Green Bay offense. So now swap QBs, and guess what? Guess what the Lions are this year?
That is still completely different.
Whatever, man.
No, I'm just trying to tell you, Mahomes takes that Green Bay team to the playoffs.
I got you. But I believe I didn't even set a timer for this episode. So I believe that we have gone over time. I don't want to make this long episode, because I will bring Jerrick Bess back for my next episode on Tuesday. So I don't want to make this one go for freaking 50. I don't know how long this episode been going, but that is it for today. As you can see, we can argue for hours and still not come to a conclusion, because he still think Mahomes better than
No,
Aaron Rodgers.
because he is.
Okay.
Yes.
Hey, think what you want to think.
Mahomes magic.
You thinking and I'm knowing. That's the
Stay
difference.
tuned. Stay tuned next Sunday. Stay
Right.
tuned. Sunday,
Stay
5:30.
tuned.
Be there.
Bump Sunday. You on the next episode. You on the next episode on Tuesday. Be ready.
You're right. I will be ready.
Buckle your chin strap. You'll be right here on Tuesday's episode. We only did this episode today because, remember, we had technical difficulties with the episode we did Friday. So that's the only reason why we did the episode today on Sunday. But that is it. It's J Bess and it's Jerrick Bess, and we are out.